ride home in our Tesla while the Tesla drives. Freaking love this car. It is absolutely amazing. It is literally driving itself every day, pretty much, from the Sawmill all the way to 22, Hawthorne to Brewster, essentially. I did not buy full self-drive. I do let it take a little bit of control on 22 before and after the main part of the strip there, because I just don't trust the other people and the car a little bit itself. But again, I do not have full self-drive. I have autopilot. So autopilot is the basic version. Full self-drive supposedly can do that stuff, but not exactly right now. But in the future, it'll be much better. But yeah, I mean, Tesla Model 3 SR Plus, 240 mile range. I will say the range, when everybody is going nuts about range. Oh, range this, range that. I find it to be more than enough for my 100-mile commute. So I do about 95 miles a day, 46 each way. So it's more than enough for my commute in the winter and in the summer, obviously. I've owned it for about a year. The car is amazing. Again, my electricity rate is real high, 0.21 cents kilowatt hour with no time of use plan, unfortunately. So I kind of get boned on the electric, but driving 100 miles a day, 100-mile commute per day, the car still saves me about $2,000 a year. That was this year. It was about $1,800 with COVID, because I was 3 months working from home. So this car saves me $2,000 versus gas at $2. For a while there was at $3. So at $2.40, which it's at now, might be a little less gas savings. I haven't figured out where I'll be at this month. I think I was around 140. So if you times 12, yeah, you'd be a little less. It'd probably be around $1,800 to $1,600 for the year. But it is still saving me money over gas, and that's if gas prices remain low, which I don't think they're going to, but that's a different story. Again, it's driving for me. I mean, I'm literally not, I'm holding the wheel, and I'm keeping my eyes on the road, because you can't just fall asleep yet. Maybe someday in the future. But for now, I mean, I just hold the wheel. I'm not really doing anything to it. And it is turning itself. It's aware of the cars in front of it. It is doing all the work. It is pretty wild. As far as the everything else with the car, I mean, charging, I have a 220 dryer. I have a dryer plug. I just bought the adapter for the dryer, and I plug right into that outlet. I bought another thing called the Dryer Buddy. It was like $200, but it was well worth it. Dryer Buddy was the thing that when the dryer comes on, it turns off the charging to the car. So well worth it in my opinion, because then I don't have to unplug and replug and unplug and replug. But year of ownership, Tesla Model 3 so far. I had one of the charge port pins come off, covered under warranty. I brushed a curb pretty hard. I don't know that I had to, but I had them do the ball bearings. That was like $300, which is pretty cheap. I mean, it's not super expensive for ball bearings. And that was it. I mean, really nothing else. The charge port had the one problem. Yeah, so far, other than that, it's been pretty good. I rotate the tires, normal stuff, but that's normal anytime type stuff. But the car has been absolutely amazing, absolutely phenomenal. And like I said, it drives itself. Now, here is the one issue I'm going to have now. So I have autopilot. So I'm currently in the right lane and the guy's doing 62. And that's, I want to go a little faster. And I can't. I got to now turn my blinker on, manually move myself into the other lane, switch hands on the camera, and then double tap the stalk to go back into autopilot. And I mean, if I had full self-drive, you could just tap the blinker, and it'll do it itself, which is great. To me, that's worth it. I should have bought it when I got the car. If I had any regret, that would be it. I should have just lumped full self-drive into the payments, because it's kind of a big nut on its own. It's like $8,000 now. It used to be $6,000 when I bought it, but he keeps raising the price the more he does to it. But yeah, if I had one regret, I would have bought the full self-drive. Don't skimp on the full self-drive unless you absolutely have to. The lane change feature alone, I think, is enough. But if it does get to the point where full self-drive is a reality and your car can go be a taxi while you're working, you're going to make, income sitting there. I mean, if you could geofence it to say for me, I'm in Hawthorne, say I could geofence it to the White Plains area. I mean, I could make a boatload just having it shuttle people around for 5 to 6 hours a day and, charging itself when I'm ready, to go home. It'll go drive people around, charge throughout the day, charge itself again, and then come back and get me, and be ready to go when I'm ready to leave. In the theory of things, it's worth it, I think. Even, like I said, just for the auto lane change makes it kind of worth it, because the whole having to switch lanes, it's such a trouble, such a bother. I can't be bothered to switch lanes. I mean, I'm driving a Tesla, for crying out loud. I can't be switching lanes manually. Who does that? Anyway, so a year in, still love my Teslas. Greatest car I've ever owned. I can't imagine owning a different car. I can't imagine going back to a gas car. I mean, you can hear it. There's no noise in the car. I mean, I kind of like the roar of the engine when I had Mustangs in the past and that, but the quietness of the ride, it's so beautiful. It's absolutely wonderful. And the full set, like I said, the autopilot is just motoring along. I ain't touching anything, and it's so good. But yeah, Tesla Model 3 SR Plus. I think you can pick one up now for $37,000. So if you figure you have a 6 or 5 year, let's just say you have a 6-year loan, that means that in 6 years you will have saved $12,000 in gas if you're doing a 100-mile commute, and really you're paying what, $24 for the car. I'm gonna think that if this thing can last me 6 years, maybe 7, or I'm hoping 7 or 8. I'm hoping more. I mean, sometimes you get a car to go 10 years. And there are other Teslas out there with 300,000 miles on them. So, sky's the limit. And me, I don't know. You don't know me. But me personally, I've driven them till they fall apart. So that's usually my MO. So, I'll probably drive it till it dies, or until I can't fix it no more, until it's not worth it to fix it anymore. But again, on these cars, there's nothing to fix. That's the beauty of it. There's an electric motor, and there's a battery pack, and as long as those two things stay working, and the air conditioning system, but that's a minor cost. And the more I think about it, the more the things I've fixed on my car were mufflers. I was always fixing fucking mufflers, and they were hundreds of dollars a clip, $200-$300 a clip, and every friggin' year I'd be fixing mufflers. So I'm kind of like, okay, well, if I don't have the cost of the muffler, then maybe I will, not have the expense. Like, the expense would be lower, I would think. Mufflers, tune-ups, all that crap. You don't have to do none of that crap. 684, we're cruising along. Someone is in the middle lane doing 58 miles an hour. Not sure why that's happening. So going to have to make another lane change. I want to get in the right lane, but there's a guy, there's people everywhere. Come on. I'll just get in the right lane and chill out over there, because that's what I like to do now. Since I am in a self-driving car, I just let it drive. And it's such a change of behavior, too, because I used to be zipping around, cutting in and out. It used to be real mayhem on the road, and now I mean, that could be me getting old, too, for sure, but I just let it drive. I don't even think about it. I don't, I just let it drive. I set it to 68 or 70, and it drives itself, and that's it. I mean, it's calm, it's relaxing. I haven't done a long distance trip, but I would assume any long distance highway trip is going to be more of a calm, relaxing type adventure, trip. It's not stressful. It's not taxing. Not that, but a commute is taxing, I think. And for me, it was a lot of aggravation and screaming and yelling because people were doing silly things, and, zipping in and out in my way. And now I just don't have that feeling anymore. It's not in me. I don't know if it's the car or if it's me getting old or what. I have a tendency to think it's a little bit of both. But, I mean, the car, by itself, not having to actually, interact with the other monkeys around me, it makes it real good. So, well, a little Tesla tidbit for you from... See, this is where we end up in trouble, though. See, this guy is stopping. Right now, we're at the 84 interchange to 684. It's the best part of my commute. And this whole 84 exit backs up, and then everybody rides in the middle lane and tries to cut in to the right lane. So they sit here at 30 miles an hour, and they try to cut in. It's very, very upsetting. It's very bad. I don't like it. Don't like it at all. It's going to cause major accidents. It does. Every probably week there's a major accident here. You can hear I'm switching lanes. That's what that beep was. And I gotta switch the phone again. Beep beep. Again, I shouldn't be doing this with the phone in my hand, but I still have not set up my remote recording. One day I will. But yep, Tesla Model 3. Get one. Everyone should own one. It's absolutely amazing. Amazing. Think about it. If you need any help, leave me a comment. Contact me. I will be glad to help any way I can. I'll give you any information I know. I've been tracking every inch this car has moved since the start of time. This is the other thing about the car, because it's so connected. It's so it's digital. Everything's broadcast. So this car, every 30 seconds, is putting out its entire information, its speed, its location, geoposition, everything. So I have down to the last mile. I have every mile tracked. 24,000 miles I've done this year, and I know every mile how fast I was going, where I was. I have it all mapped out. I have all the data saved. I know how much power I'm using. It's unbelievable the amount of information that you can get from this car. Unbelievable. I mean, nothing I'd ever seen before. Not that I don't think any of these other cars do it, or if they do, you just don't know about it. Some of them probably do a little bit, but I don't know how much they really can track. But anyway, Tesla Model 3 SR Plus or long range, whichever one suits your boat. Again, I have a 100-mile commute, so it's not bad for me. In the winters, I get home with about 30% battery, 40 to 30, depending on how cold it is and the conditions. But that's, not bad for me. Other people, they might want the long range. You're going 200 miles a day, or you take a lot of road trips. I don't. Personally, I take one a year, for vacation. We go out on the weekends. But on the weekends, I'll tell you what, 250 kilowatts charger. You could charge this bad boy in about 20 minutes, so you're really stopping, charging up, and going. It's not that long. It's not that bad. That's one of everybody's biggest concerns, and I think it's absolutely wonderful. Tesla Model 3. Get one. Where are your hazards